G'day. I'm home from work. Let me just finish this before it goes cold. And I wanted to talk about Piety Schmiety, which is a phrase that I've invented out of experience to describe the situation when we Christians get so concerned about what people might call personal holiness, inner holiness, that we actually kind of miss the wood for the trees, or almost set these things up as idolatry in a sense. Idolatry is when you put something up in place of God and worship that instead. And I think if we're not careful, we can take Christian principles or practices and actually make them rather than God himself the center of our concerns. And I know that I've noticed that I can do that very easily, and I've done it a lot. So I just thought I'd talk about Piety Schmiety from my own experience. So I think there's such a thing as I think people would call it spiritual pride, where you do stuff and then you feel really good about yourself or proud that you've done it, and about how wonderfully holy you are, and you start wondering, have other people done that, or am I more holy than them, am I more Christ-like than them? I know I've done that a lot. Piety Schmiety is when it also includes, I do think there's such a thing as Christian peer pressure, I call it. So some examples of Piety Schmiety would be times when you do things that are good in themselves, but you're coming out of not quite the right motive. So you might buy a big issue from a vendor in the street, and you've bought it because you don't want to feel bad for walking past him. Or you buy some fair trade coffee because you feel that if other people come round to your house, your flat, and see that you haven't got fair trade coffee, then they'll be judging you, and they'll be like for not being Christian enough or caring about the world enough, that kind of thing. So there are two examples of when you can do something that's good, but you're not actually doing them out of quite the right motive. And even just wanting to be more holy, or wanting to be more Christ-like, even that subtly, I think, can be out of the wrong motive. Like, you want to do it because you want to be seen to be more holy by other people, or even just by yourself. That I think pride and peer and I don't know if peer pressure is the right phrase, but Jesus talked about not drawing other people's attention to the good things that you're doing. But I think we can also concentrate too much on drawing our own attention to what we're doing. I think true holiness, I think we're called to be holy. It's not the most helpful word, but we're called to do things in life that God would approve of, or the things that God would want us to do. Not so we can go around feeling or pleased with ourselves about how Christian we are, but the reasons we should do these things is firstly simply because God deserves it, and you can just stop right there, and that is a big reason in itself for pursuing holiness. And another reason for being holy ought to be that the more godlike we are, the more holy we are, the more God can use us in the world. So true piety, holiness, good works. These things are in the right place when we're not looking at ourselves and thinking about our holiness, but when we're looking at God and we're looking at other people and we're doing them simply out of love for God and for other people and a genuine wanting to serve. If we're doing it because we want to be holy and we want to feel holy, we're doing it for ourselves. Do you get the slight difference? It can be quite subtle sometimes, and there are so many kind of Christian things you can do, but you're not doing it from quite the right angle or quite the right way, and it ends up being more about what we can achieve or what we can be proud of, rather than about service and love. In a really famous Bible passage that you hear often in weddings, Paul says that you can do loads of stuff that's commendable or amazing, but if you don't do it out of love, then in a way it's kind of lost its value with God, because God judges things. He cares more about how much love we do things out of, rather than kind of what we've done in themselves. Although obviously he's still pleased that we've done them, but he wants our motives to be love, and he wants us to live in a way that's not all concerned about us and our own holiness and our own spirituality. The kinds of churches I used to go to more when I was a teenager, I'm not dissing them, but a lot of when we read the Bible, it would be more the letters that we read, the letters that were written in the New Testament, and we'd concentrate a lot on living a Christian lifestyle. And that's not bad, but I've noticed in myself that it's easy to then concentrate so much on that you end up it just turns into a pride thing or an achievement thing, far too much about you than other people. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you this situation that I've observed, that we all need to be careful of trying to be holy, or doing good works and that kind of thing, more for our own feel-good factor and how spiritual am I factor, rather than the true motives of love and service. So that, my friends, is Piety Schmiety.